intro make me smile.
Every time, man. Every time.
Yes, indeed. Hello, everybody. Your Mortal Afro Josh. I am joined by my co-host H3 The Game. How you doing, man? Welcome to another weekly gaming roundup.
I'm good, man. Just playing my hold on. This way. This way. Yeah, this way. Playing my Ultimate Ninja Storm, actually Storm Connections. I've been having really fun playing it. How about you, man?
I've been pretty good. My last upload was I had an interview with the game developer, the head developer for this game called The Last Rebellion. Really
Okay.
looking forward to that. It was a fun discussion, and this game is looking pretty good. He's hoping to release it before Christmas, and I cannot wait. And
Okay.
yeah, I'm all about that. But speaking of rebellion, we got some rebelling to do against here at home.
Oh man.
We have a slew of interesting topics we would like to go over. Some better than others, but we're gonna end it on a high note. But I have our banners set up here. We're gonna try. All right, we got. I don't know if you can see the banners over here, but which would you like to start with?
Um let's see. I can't see the banner.
Oh, okay. Well, probably only on my side, but we have the Pokimane's Cookie Crumbles,
Uh-oh.
Scott Pilgrim Bait and Switch, Last of Us 2 Redundancy, Localizers or Cancer. Which one would you like to go? Because one of
Let's
these
start.
bit too
Let's
many.
start with that Last of Us, the
All right,
Last of Us remaster.
Last of Us 2 Remaster. So I have a article over here that pretty much just talks about what it is, but we're gonna highlight the is it necessary? No. Is it a surprise? Also, no. Let me turn off Facebook. Facebook is starting to make
My
noise.
my question is, who asked for this? Like, really,
Uh,
who asked for this? Who wants this? Like, really?
I don't think anyone does, man, because like I understand the PlayStation 5 needs games, and it's unfortunate because ever since 8th gen kicked off, the only real thing they've managed to have is remakes of previous games from previous generations, and that seems to be like the only selling point for 8th and 9th gen consoles from old shit.
I'm seeing a lot
So
of that.
so it's pretty trash.
So here's my thing. I remember when The Last of Us 2 released. I was working at a certain video game company
Is that a
selling
place where you
games.
stop to get these games?
It's a place where you stop to get these games. And so not only was I like, talking to the customers, I was also following what was happening online with different, reviewers and things like that. And the
Mhm.
backlash for this game was massive, man. There was a huge bait and switch with the game. People thought
Mhm.
that it was going to be a certain way. It wasn't. Most of the people who play The Last of Us were playing because they liked the relationship between Joel and Ellie. It made the story for them. But The Last of Us 2 kind of baited and switched to fans, right? So,
Mhm.
what's the old saying? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice,
Shame
shame
on
on
me.
me. This,
Yep.
this is the thing. The players know what the game is now. So let's just say maybe like half of the fan base didn't like it and the other half did. It's like you already lost half your fan base. Like at first everybody was all in, everybody was collective. That's a team. Let's support this game. Uh but now that everybody knows, it's like who's gonna
Yeah.
buy it? You
Yeah,
know?
because like the whole theme behind The Last of Us 2, because it got leaked. That was the whole controversy at first, where the story got leaked, I guess, by a disgruntled employee, which I'm not really in favor of. Like, despite my opinions about the games, it's a massive project with a lot of people behind it, and to have it spoiled is not the best optics. However, with that being said, like it was clear that the overall quality of the game has been rated highly across the board. The main issue was the narrative and how this is where like the push was being seen by a lot of people for like specific outcomes with certain characters. And you know, they say hindsight is 2020. You know, when you think about that South Park thing, put a chick in it, make her gay,
Yeah.
and there's a whole lot of that in there.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Exactly. And also, I remember my brother. He's a huge Last of Us fan, and he
what?
loved the first one. And when the leaks came out, I had seen it. I looked at it. I was like, "Oh my god, my brother's not gonna like this game. These leaks are terrible." So one day I was talking with my brother. I was like, "Yeah, you know, The Last of Us 2 is coming out," and he was hyped. He was like, "Man, I can't wait for it." And I was like, "Man, you're not gonna like it." He's like, "What? Why not?" I was like, "I'm not gonna tell you, but you're not gonna like it." He was like, "Tell me." Well, he's like, "No, don't tell me. I want to be surprised." I was like, "Okay." And when
Yeah.
it came out, oh my god, he was like so devastated at the game, and he was kind of saying what you were saying. Like the gameplay was good, but the story, the narrative, just rubbed everybody the wrong way.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because like I did like the game. Like I didn't beat the first one, but I was really enjoying it. I think I played like 2 hours into it at the time. I was really over fighting games like above everything. But the game did have like some really strong emotional, scenes and characters, and that was just at the
Mhm.
very beginning. Like yeah, it has one of the strongest openings for that type of game in my opinion. And of course, me playing the way I was kind of expecting to come back around to it. And so when The Last of Us 2 was announced, I'm like, oh, great. I'm gonna go back, play The Last of Us 1. And then by the time I finish, 2 will be out. And I just run straight into 2.
Mhm.
Uh-uh. Not what happened. And I'm kind of glad because if I had got more invested in that game, I'd be a lot more devastated, kind of like how your brother was. It's like, man,
Yeah,
yo.
and of course, I think they're riding on the wave of the Last of Us, TV show that came out. It was really successful. So, I feel like this is probably their chance to try to get more people into it, that don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of people that don't know that buy this game. Um, so I just,
Yeah, it's
here's the thing.
unfortunate.
It's like, is the show going to go in the direction of The Last of Us 2? I heard that they probably not
I
going to do
mean,
that,
they
but
kind of did in terms of like the weird additions because like Last of Us 2 is kind of like what sparked a lot of that. And The Last of Us, the show, isn't like the first game, which people were expecting. The whole race swapping and then the
mhm.
entire the homo scene in the third episode, which I'm like, look, I didn't think that happened in the game, but they felt the need to put it in there because make it gay, and it's like, dude, gay, 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 gay. That's all these folks care about. And I'm not saying you can't write a story about gay characters, but come on, man, like make your own show.
Josh, we have to be inclusive and
I wrote,
include all sexualities and races. So
nah,
somebody got to be black and somebody got to be gay somewhere.
yeah, and that's the problem we have with a lot of this stuff. It's like nothing's enjoyable anymore because of that. So like I said, it doesn't really surprise me. And like Ludic Lou says right here, I'm glad I didn't get into it because, if I did, I'd be a lot more upset. But at this point, I'm like, I don't care what they do with it. I just think it's lame. My biggest criticism is like you re-releasing this game again. It's all this generation has mostly been this and last gen. Remakes, releases, re. And it's like, dude, y'all don't make nothing new. I'm not surprised, given
Yeah,
how you know, untalented a lot of the writers are, but
yeah. I I don't want to say this, but I gotta say it. It's just how I feel. I hope this fails. I really do. I hope it does terrible. Like low numbers. All the fans boycott this because they kind of baited and switched and like really just like betrayed the fans. And I don't like that.
Well,
I
I
don't like that.
mean, I wouldn't be too worried about it because like I think its original release was contentious enough to kind of warrant, you know, people to not be as excited. And I think they're more so just trying to, just put this platform out there on this, just have it on this platform as an option. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I mean, if that's all this is, then fine, because
Well,
Sony's not losing any money over it.
yeah. What I think like there's a different price for it, right?
Yeah, if you have, it's like the digital upgrade thing. If you have it already, it'll just be $10 to buy. But
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be full price if you didn't buy it. So then that's where no one's gonna spend any money on the shit.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for the people who are a fan of The Last of Us 2,
Mm-hmm.
or the series as a whole, like including 1 and 2, then this would be great for them. But everybody else that felt betrayed, no, it's over.
Well, yeah. Speaking of baiting and switching, you want to go ahead and move on to the next one?
Oh yeah, let's talk about them cookies. That's
Okay.
what I want to talk about. Oh wait, you
Yeah.
want to talk about? Oh yeah,
I mean,
okay.
we can. Like, it just seemed like a good transition. I know we were trying to do back and forth, but I'm like, I don't know. I think that's a good transition.
Well, shoot, we can go into it.
Okay.
We can go
Damn.
into it.
Bait
Yeah,
and switch seems to.
we just did a bait and switch right there.
It all works out.
Yeah, it all works out, man. So,
So,
Scott Pilgrim. Can you show my screen really quick? Hold on, let me see.
yeah. Pokimane should be in there. Hey, we getting there, Clay. Don't worry. But first, we gotta talk about this awesome new animated series that came out. All right, there we go.
All right, so there's been some backlash with the Scott Pilgrim show on Netflix.
Hey, make sure you tell them what site this is too. That's important.
Oh, this is Kotaku, and this article was written by Kenneth Shepard. So, but yeah.
Boy, look at them ads. Ass out there. Hey, you want to show mine? Because oh my God, Lee, I don't have nothing. I gotta see. This is where I gotta like get you into the awesome, the proper way to browse on a PC. We'll get you there one of these days.
The proper way. But yeah, so there's backlash with the Scott Pilgrim anime, and so the main issue is that Scott Pilgrim is about a young boy who likes this girl, and he takes on her different exes, in order to be with her, But mainly the story is about Scott Pilgrim, as the title suggests, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this new adaptation, instead of focusing on Scott Pilgrim, they focused on his main love interest, right? Which is Ramona. So people went into this anime thinking that, okay, well, we're going to watch Scott Pilgrim because, that's what the story's supposed to be about. But it ended up being about her and the development of her instead of him. So this is a whole new take. And this is another example of, like we said, like the bait and switch, man. And this was a hard one too, because I really wanted to watch this.
Yeah.
Because go ahead.
The thing that I find ironic about it, which of course, it's not surprising to most of us, but we're not against a female character getting her shine. There's a lot of games and anime or shows that we enjoy that have a female character in there by default. The problem when it comes, because you can tell this is just a new strategy they're trying to push their shit, because they can't make their own, right? It's just not possible. They have to piggyback off of an established IP in order for them to get attention or eyes. And they're fine with taking a little bit of heat if it means they can still get their shit out there. Like in the case of Scott Pilgrim, I've seen this. I watched the movie way back when it came out, and I played the game. I'm not big into it, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. And I had of course, I don't know who Ramona was. And when I first heard about it, because there's a few people I watch who cover this type of stuff, and when they highlight something, I'm like, yeah, it's bait and switch. And because like I said, I heard the same thing with Castlevania, just like as Gaseous Clay pointed out here, and it's just a running gag at this point. So Ramona, from what I understand, that's the original chick he fought for in the original movie, right? It's the one he
Yeah.
ended up with at the end. I don't know if that was meant to be the case. Like I understood he had to go through all her exes to get to her, oh yeah, she's mine. Only for them to pull off, from what I've heard in the first episode, because I ain't watched it, I ain't gonna watch the shit. But in the first episode, he gets defeated or killed, and now it's all about Ramona. And it's like, couldn't you guys just say Ramona versus the world or something? Because if that's what it actually is, why use Scott's name to sell it? They keep complaining about how like, oh, men always blah blah blah. Okay, then make the character the way you want it. Make that character. You can use the IP. It's not like we're against her having her own story. Probably not want to watch it, but still, die on that hill. But they can't do it. They have to use a man. Use his name.
Yeah.
Because our
it's all about um downplaying the man while uplifting the woman in a lot of these movies. So we've seen over the years in a lot of movies where like the women outshine the men in like the craziest ways. Like unbelievably. Like I've said this before, I've talked about it before. Like I tell people all the time, like I hate Endgame. And then people are so shocked when I say that I hate Endgame. And they did that so hard at Endgame where at the end they were fighting Thanos, right? It was Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor all fighting Thanos. And Thor had his hammer, and then Captain America got a hammer. So these are like they're the most powerful, and they cannot beat Thanos. And even before that, the Incredible Hulk fought Thanos, and he got beat to a pulp. He got beat down like terribly to
so
where he didn't even
bad.
want to.
He
So
wasn't even in
bad
the
he
movie
didn't
no
even
more.
want to. Yeah, he wasn't even in the movie no more. Like he got beat so bad. But at the end, the only people who could really mess with Thanos was Captain Marvel. And he actually, like when he punched her, he couldn't do anything to her, right? And then there was the Scarlet Witch. So the only two women in the movie, only people in the movie that could do something to him were those two women. And he pretty much had to blow up his entire fleet just to, get these women up off of him. And it's like they keep doing this over and over and over again. Like, for instance, in the new Marvels movie, like Samuel Jackson, pretty much got downplayed. Actually, in the previous Marvel movie, he got downplayed. So they're always finding ways to make the men like insignificant in these movies, and it's terrible. And going back to this is the same thing with the Scott Pilgrim. With this bait and switch is real terrible. Real terrible. Because me personally, I watched the movies and I bought some of the books. So I know what the stories are supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
But it's always something, man. It never fails. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, I've been looking at a few videos of people reacting to like the bait and switch, and you can kind of tell that it's having an effect overall. With there are certain people who are just not willing to talk about it or get into it, so they're gonna pretend like it's good. Like, oh, it was a little surprising. I wasn't expecting it, but after watching it, it turned out pretty good. Like, look, if you're afraid to criticize it, just say that. Because like I said, I don't think anyone would be against. Like, okay, well, let me ask this first. Like, is Ramona a good character? Do people like her? Is she like a fun character in Scott Pilgrim?
She's
Like,
not a necessarily fun character, but she's the main love interest. But she's kind of like the dark, gloomy type character, really. You know,
So you wouldn't
She's not
consider
really
her like
like
a
happy-go-lucky.
you wouldn't consider her like a favorite in the series because
I think I
Gaseous
think
plays like she refused goods, all the extras, but
yeah, I think my personal opinion, I like all of the characters. I think they all serve their purpose in what the story is trying to tell. So Ramona, you know, she's an okay character. Me personally, I'm not a fan of her too much, but she is a strong character in the story.
So I guess it's not too unusual for her to get a spinoff should that happen. You just would have expected her to get a spinoff on her own, in her own name, as
Yeah,
opposed
they
to
should have.
piggybacking.
Yeah, they should have called it something else. Don't call it Scott Pilgrim, and he's nowhere near, nowhere to be found. He's only in like 2 episodes, so it's terrible, man. I do like that they got the original movie cast to come to voice, the characters in this show, but you know,
Yeah,
it's
and it's
I can't believe like people are like defending this.
like Kotaku themselves. Well, why don't you scroll down to that very
Oh yeah. Oh
Kotaku
god.
take. Kotaku
So
take.
the
Yeah.
the Kotaku take, which is this again, this article is written by Kenneth Shepard. Let's see what
Resident
Kenneth has
Simp.
to say about why why Scott Pilgrim Takeoff is effective and necessary. All right, let me get to reading.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
yes, I
curious.
felt some initial disappointment that we weren't getting a more fleshed out adaptation of Scott Pilgrim. Yes, Kenneth, you are 100% right. We wanted a fleshed out comic book representation of Scott Pilgrim. I came around very quickly on the show's subversive metatextual take on its story. I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, see, that's that language bullshit that they try to use. Like, look, you're just not smart enough to understand why this story is so good. Like, subversive metatextual. What
So,
the?
just side note, Scott Pilgrim is like one of the simplest stories ever. It's
Yeah,
not that damn complex.
but it
But
has to be if it's women, I
but
guess.
let me continue to read. Let's say this twist is a great way to give Ramona, who the film adaptation did especially dirty, a chance to examine her own issues with abandonment, was a demonizing her exes, absolving herself of the pain she had caused, just as Scott got to do in the original story. First of all, this story is not about her. The story is about Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, he's
I
selling the
understand.
tickets.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he's selling the tickets. Like
Yeah, see.
he's the guy. But
Yeah. And it says, and while I and other fans might have needed some convincing, it sounds like O'Malley was wholly uninterested in doing a rote retelling of the source material, telling Variety that doing so would have felt like death. What the hell?
who's O'Malley? Is that a woman?
I think that is the guy who wrote the books.
Brian B. O'Malley.
Yeah, I think he wrote the Scott Pilgrim at books. All right. So the only thing that I can think of with him saying that is that he's done so many things with Scott Pilgrim that he's probably tired of, like, going back to it. But that's just my take.
Not tired of using his name though to sell it though.
Yeah.
If you had as much faith in these characters as this show would seem to imply, then I don't think it would have been an issue to like just use her name. Like it could have been like assuming people are still looks like this series has a lot of fans. Like this franchise is still pretty strong in terms of relevance and influence.
Yeah.
But I don't see why you couldn't use the name of that character. Because like the problem is we've seen this so often in so many different types of media, it's impossible for us to not notice and then be upset about this in particular. This may be a good show in some light, but it doesn't change the fact that you have to manipulate and lie in order to get it to the certain point. Because just as South Park said, put a chick in it, make it lame and gay. This may not be lame, but it is pretty gay, from what I've heard.
Well, reading this part seems like it might be kind of lame.
Right
Let's
there.
see.
Play.
So instead of recounting Scott's fights with Ramona's exes, Takeoff has his leading lady investigating our hero's disappearance after his apparent loss in the first fight against evil ex Matthew Patel, who dated Ramona for a week and a half in middle school. Scott's supposed death sends the entire story of the original book into a tailspin, and Ramona spends the majority of the show reconciling with her exes and figure out that despite the branding, none of them were really evil after all. Oh my God, bro.
What?
So this is like essentially killing off the main character. He's not dead, of course. But essentially, like you're saying, oh, well, this guy is missing. This guy's dead. And this goes back to what I was talking about. Like you're scooting the male characters aside to make way for the female characters. It's like, why couldn't this just be its original story? Well, not the original story, but why couldn't this just be something different? Just take Scott Pilgrim out. Just like don't even put him in the show. But they know that people like Scott Pilgrim. He's the main character,
Mm-hmm.
And they're using him to kind of prop up this lady or this character. And now they're talking about like reconciling with her like exes and stuff like that. Man, those exes were jerks, man. They were assholes. All of them. All of them were assholes.
I guess not anymore. If it means we could make her the centerpiece of everything. And like I see down here at the bottom, and this is typical. The knee-jerk reaction to this claim is the knee-jerk reaction to this is to claim false advertising. And while I can charitably sympathize with that criticism in some context, I do wish we would stop viewing every piece of art we watch, play, or read as strictly transactional experience. It is. I'm paying. This is what I want. Hey, you got this for me? I would like to pay you for this. And then when I get home and open it up, and it's the opposite. Like, you lied to me. This is not what I wanted. If I wanted this, that I got, I would have got that. But like we said, they can't sell anything on that. That's why they put it on the backs of it. And then you got people like this guy, who is I don't know. It's
so. What's funny is down here in this section, he's kind of making a comparison to Metal Gear Solid 2, where they they kind of did the bait and switch with Metal Gear Solid 2.
Mm-hmm.
And, in that game, it really wasn't received as well as it would have if Snake was the main character. But people didn't like that either. Yeah. Right? And then he has nerve to bring up The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
So I remember this because, like I said, I kept up with it. In The Last of Us Part 2, they had Joel in the trailers like he was going to be a part of the journey with you through the entire story. But then you get to the game, it's like, no, it's not like that. And you know what? People didn't like that shit either.
Yep. And it's almost like hey, this doesn't work.
It's like, I don't understand, Kenneth. You're writing all of this stuff, but at the end of the day, you cannot deny that the fans don't like this. It's like he'll name off like, okay, well, I can sympathize with you, but I know you don't like this, but It's like,
Yeah.
shut up. That's what I want to tell. Like, shut up.
It's
Kenneth.
word salad. Because like
Yeah,
if you look at some of the comments, like this guy at the bottom of Rod, he's the first comment. He's like, "You guys are getting to the point where it seems like deliberate ignorance of what's happening," and it is because it's like this is like we said, it's an agenda push, and when you're trying to push an agenda, it's not about the nuance. They'll sit here and say it is like, "Oh well, it's just the subtextual, contextual, meta, usual." Like, look, dude, like a simple story is simple. Like it doesn't take all of this wordplay to make it interesting. If it's a cool character and a cool story, it'll work. But if you have to come
exactly.
up with all this stupid word salad to justify a injustifiable act, it's like you're just trying to spin a narrative, dude. Like
Exactly. It's like this dude wrote this entire article knowing that we're right, knowing we have the right to be like, okay, this is not what we want. And the same thing with the Marvels. The Marvels came out. They feeding us stuff that we don't want. They're trying to force it on us. And look what happens.
yeah,
It
it fucking
flops.
bails. And it's a few
Oh
times.
yeah. He-Man. I forgot all about that.
Yeah,
They did He-Man so dirty. They did the bait and switch with He-Man. It's like Netflix is like the holy grail for bait and switch.
yeah, that's all they got. Like when you got an agenda, it's like every time you turn around, it's something about some chick who's just unusually, vastly more powerful and interesting all of a sudden that can take out the main bad guy, just like you said with the in game where Hulk. That made no sense to me. Like I didn't care for the movie that much, but that part did kind of sting. Because like, look, man, it's the Hulk. I don't like this new Hulk, trash, but he's still supposed to be the Hulk. And this was like raging, angry, not smart banner Hulk. This was just Hulk. And for 2 years prior, he was on his other planet beating the dog shit out of everybody. So I'm like, he's only been getting stronger. And he stayed in Hulk form that entire time. He come back to Earth and get folded and like he get hit with a 3-piece combo and thrown on his back, and he's just like, "Ooh!" They're like, this dude got knocked through buildings, blown up, flung halfway across the country, and 2 punches and a knee from Thanos is enough to just make him like, I retire, y'all. This is my last fight, y'all. I'm sorry. Like,
But
and then
Captain Marvel,
no problem at all.
he tried to put the 3-piece on her. That shit bounced off of her. Boop, boop. I was like, oh my God. Well, I want to walk out the movie. I promise I did. Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's no different here. Like, I see a lot of people like the animation is good, and the thing is, like, I know a lot of these people don't believe that. They're just they're afraid to engage, and that's how you know it's like full of shit. You're afraid to criticize. That's why anyone who just automatically just likes this shit, I don't trust your opinion on anything, dude. Because you can like aspects about it. I'm not saying you have to hate the entire thing, but if the main focal point has been stripped and switched around at the last second, even though building up to it, just like at the Marvels, they used all these trailers showcasing like this is what you want. You want to see Scott back in action. He's about to take off and be gone. It was like, oh, that's not like, come on, dude. He's at the front of every trailer and picture. He's like the middle guy. And you mean to tell me the story is actually about this little girl sitting in the back behind his leg? Like, the fuck out of here,
Bro,
dude.
it's almost like you got a Superman comic with Superman on the cover, and then you open it up and it's all about Lois Lane. You're like, what?
She got the
Where's
cape on.
Superman at?
Oh yeah, Superman took off. Like he's
Well,
all
actually, hey, she don't even have like the cape on. She's just in the office doing paperwork. Like what?
being a reporter. I'm like, this is why I got this book to see Lois Lane report the news. I
And
didn't
you
want to
see
see
on the front
Superman.
cover, cover Superman busting through the walls and shooting lasers. It's like, man, I can't wait to read this comic book.
Nah.
And you turn the page, it's Lois Lane.
It's like,
In the
okay,
office,
maybe it's just a
coffee.
setting.
Yeah, maybe
The
it's
next
just
page.
setting. And you done got like 3 or 4 books in, and Superman ain't showed up nowhere. Well, actually, he probably showed up, said like 3 words, and then take off. And you gonna be mad.
Yeah.
It's like And that's how it is with Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim is the Superman of his own book. He's the Batman. He's the Ryu. You know,
Yeah.
he's the main character. Like,
Yeah.
don't call it Scott Pilgrim if Scott Pilgrim is not going to be in it. Because
Yeah.
the thing is, they knew that people wouldn't want to watch it if Scott Pilgrim wasn't in it.
Yep. And that's what makes it so disingenuous. And like I said, when people who say they like this shit are like, oh yeah, it's really good. I'm like, you like everything. Just say you like everything, dude. You ain't gotta lie to me. like if you're too afraid to criticize shit, just say it. At that point, I could at least respect that you're being honest. Finally, instead of sitting over here spouting bullshit, talking about like, oh yeah, it's just as good as the regular store. Like it's not the regular store. How's it just as like, okay, it looks good, the animation's quality, everyone, the lines are delivered great. That could be if that's what you're actually talking about because you're too afraid to touch the thing, say that. But nobody will say that because we got an agenda to push. And if you're against the agenda, then you lose your place in the group. Fucking coward. But like, wow, that irritates the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Yeah. So what's the next topic we got?
Man, let's talk about Pokimane's cookie.
Oh man, I've been waiting all my life for this. Ready to talk about these cookies forever.
Yeah, because you've told me about it earlier today before we started streaming. Because I haven't been following it, but that article you sent me, I kind of read through it. I was like, oof.
Yeah,
it lines up perfectly with what I've been complaining about in the gaming industry, women. But I'll let you get us started. Where we going?
So this article is basically about Pokimane, and she decided to get into the cookie industry. And if you've been living under a rock and you don't know who Pokimane is, she's a streamer, she's a model, she's a businesswoman, and everything around her. Oh, I forgot, she's like co-owner of Evo too. So if you like Evo, Pokimane is like one of the people that's behind Evo. So
and I do not like Evo, but go ahead.
oh no,
The junk got pretty fucking gay.
but so everything around Pokimane, it's like she always starts off good, but there always seems to be some type of controversy or take that she has that ruins a lot of stuff for her, even though she's still like hella rich. But anyway, Pokimane is getting to the cookie industry, right? So let's read this article. And this is from PC Gamer by Rich Stanton. All right. So influencer Pokimane recently launched her own line of branded cookies, the Minna cookies, with an adamant vitamin D. Oh man, vitamin D. Are miniature cookies and bags, which are sold in bunches of 4 for $28. If you're thinking that's a lot of money to spend on biscuits, you're not alone. Though, of course, Pokimane is only one of many influencers who have caught on the profitability of branded snacks. And so I guess Mr. Beast has a snack and, or a burger, I think he had, right?
Yeah, like it's no different than influencers getting in, it's normal. Because like when I first heard about it, I was like, I don't really care, I'm all about capitalism, make your money. But if it's good and it's priced properly and it's good, I mean, I ain't got a problem buying it. It's better than bath water. I gotta give her that.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. On November 18th, streamed one of Pokimane's viewers complained about the price of cookies, and here's where the drama started. The influencer responded. When people are like, oh my God, $28 for cookies is 4 bags, that's $7 per bag. I know, math is hard when you're an idiot, but if you're a broke boy, just say so. Oh no, you're telling the internet that they're broke?
Well, see, here's the thing. Like, I'm not really against the idea of stuff being expensive like that because if I was to launch like a line of T-shirts or clothes, if I want them to be quality, it's going to cost me money to like distribute and all that stuff, and it's going to cost me even more if I figure out like, oh, if I develop the resources to actually make them myself instead of outsourcing it, it's going to cost me a lot of money. So like, if I were to make my own, like let's say a sweater or a hoodie like this, I probably would have to sell them at like $60-$70 to turn a profit, which it's not unreasonable. Like for cookies, I don't know how that works, but that does seem a little bit pricey for cookies. But I'm like, hey, it's brand. If you like something, you want to rep the brand or support it. It is the price is what it is. However, if you want people to respect your grind or whatever it is you're trying to make a ton of profit off of, you can't do that because now with your image behind it is tarnished because you come out because Pokimane is already rich. It ain't like she's bleeding, hurting for money. She's got all her fingers in all these different pies, doing all that stuff. She's good. And like I said, no problem with you selling. You can sell it for whatever price you want. If you think that's gonna sell, go crazy. But when you start insulting your base, which is mostly guys, because that's the only folks who watch her shit, because you're pretty, not because she's good at anything in particular. And she knows that. That's why she puts on all that makeup and look her best every time she go in front of the camera. Like the last thing you want to do is insult your base because there's plenty of guys who will complain about the price of them cookies and buy them anyway.
Exactly.
Like, these same niggas are, pardon my language, these same motherfuckers are the ones who will buy some like bath water at ridiculous price and they won't complain. And us looking at them like, dude, that makes no. Why would you buy that? They're like, I'm just a degenerate, dude. I need all the Pokimane Amaranth merch. I'm like, look, it's your money. Go crazy. I can't stop it. But,
so her saying this was a joke, of course. It was a joke, but some people are really sensitive, so the internet took it to heart, and okay. So my opinion, I just want to know: are the cookies good? Like for $28, and you can't really like separate them like into individual bags. You have to buy the 4 bags or whatever. So for 4 bags, them damn cookies better be good, man. Like I almost want to like buy some to see what they taste like. Because
I don't care enough about Pokimane to get her cookies. I go to Kroger to get some graham crackers. I'd be set because like the only reason I think you would want to buy Pokimane cookies is if you want to, be the one of the reviewer types. I'm gonna review, like, I love food and cookies, and I want to review all the cookies, including Pokimane's cookies. Or you just want to support her because she's your favorite content creator, personality, or whatever. Those are the only real reasons I can think of to justify buying some $30 cookies.
Well, I heard that they're gluten free, so shit. Anything gluten free tastes like gluteus maximus, if you ask me. But I'm gonna buy some, dude. I'm gonna buy some, right? And I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna give you some and see if you like them.
I'll try. Gaseous Clay, her cookies taste of desperation.
Hey yo.
If you buying, I am not complaining because it's free food and I'm all for that free food. I eat whatever if I ain't got to pay for it. But I'm like, cookies, are they like chocolate chip cookies, sugar cookies, or like what are they?
I think they're like biscuit cookies or something. But the thing is, I think there's like 3 or 4 layers of controversy with this, right?
Yeah.
So there's one, there's the pricing. The cookies are just too damn much. 2, she's calling the customers idiots, right? Like, okay, well, you guys are idiots and broke.
I'm willing to set that aside if it's a joke. Just to be fair, I'm willing to do that for her. So,
but that's the second layer. The third layer is that the cookies were made in the same factory as another cookie place. So it's it's like an imitation of another cookie. And she just added vitamin D to her cookie and charged an outrageous price for it.
How much are the normal cookies made there? Like, what's the price difference?
I don't know. I wish I had a picture of the cookie that is modeled after, but they're in the same factory. So it's the same damn cookie.
Just with more vitamin D.
More vitamin D in it.
You dip your cookies in milk. There you go, vitamin D. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
And the fourth layer, I think now she's on the apology tour, apologizing to her fans about what she said.
See, it's weird because like I believe in across the board that I don't think you should apologize for something that's like if it was intended as a joke, you know, because I honestly think our society is way too sensitive for people to like bully you into like apologizing for something like me. Like I'm not about to apologize for my opinions on nothing. If I want to sell something and the price makes sense for me, I'm not apologizing for the price. And if it's like I said, if it's a joke, that's one thing. My biggest thing is probably how, and this kind of goes back to my whole issue when it comes to making gaming niche again. And the last video I made where I just said like the best thing for gaming is to like, you know, reduce the amount of women involved in so many aspects of the gaming industry, specifically game development. Because when it comes to like taking heat, they can't do it. Because like, you know, later in this article, it turns into like all this criticism of her she interprets that as sexism.
Yeah, it's women bashing.
That's the part where that's where she loses me. I'm like, see, I was rocking with you up to this point because like look, hey, you claim you want equality. If you say something on the internet, that's your ass. That's something you took that chance. That's on you.
Well, let's see here. Pokimane's fellow influencer and Call of Duty streamer. Is it Nadia or Nadia?
Yeah.
I'll say Nadia. Was one of those who took to the star's defense, listing various other influencers she has a problem with before certain that the real issue here was online sexism. Oh, would you look at that? When a girl sells cookies, that's when y'all want to speak out, wrote Nadia. The immense hatred towards women on the internet is unhinged.
And that's why you probably shouldn't be on the bitch. Get off. Like, if you can't take it, leave. And this is the funny thing right here. When a girl, Pokimane is not no little girl, man. Ain't she like 30?
I think she's like
closing in on 30.
She's closing in on the 30s, I believe.
Yeah, that's a grown woman. You see, it's just like I said, man. It's like you want the appeal of all this power. But if you get a little pushback, y'all retreat back to the sexism argument. I'm just a little girl, just like that Bill Burr.
I'm just a baby. I'm just a baby girl.
I'm just turning my hair a little nice like this. I'm just a dainty little thing. I have no And it's like, no, dude, like you're a Pokimane. Like reached a level of power that I would likely never see in my lifetime. And they're like, ain't a problem. Like I imagine she worked hard to get there with her army of simps, you know? So I'm like, hey, I'm willing to give you that. But if you're going to run behind this veil, and of course her friend Nadia, you know, women got to stick together and still can't handle it, saying shit, the hate towards women, like, what about the hate
why can't it just be you doing trash shit? You just doing some trash stuff. First of all, okay, just like so let's fit the role. Let's say if a dude did this, right? Like let's just say Pokimane was an actual Pokimane. This is a Pokimane. And he sells these damn cookies and he overpriced the shit. And then he said, man, y'all suck. If y'all don't buy my cookies, y'all just broke.
Y'all some broke bitches.
He would get like flamed so hard. Ain't gonna be nobody to come to his defense. Ain't nobody gonna say, you know, somebody being sexist. The grown man saying you being sexist towards me. What does that look like?
Yeah, he about to get cooked. That's gonna be the end
that dude would get like flamed, and you know what he would have to do? He would just have to stick with it.
Uh,
Ain't nothing
yeah.
he can do. It's just you got to survive. You know, even like I don't like when people issue an apology, but he would have to. I don't think it would go over as well as somebody like Pokimane, but that dude ain't gonna be nobody coming out with shit like that.
Yeah.
Like
You know?
okay, yeah, that is what's wrong with the internet today. They
There's so
always
much,
got something against men,
so
and
much
what men
hate.
got to do. It's so sexist. It's just
Yeah.
the hatred towards men is unhinged.
He'll get buried so fast. That'd be the end of his internet career. He have to go back
Like
to
boy,
working the warehouse.
boy, tell that man, boy, if you don't shut your ass up, shut your ass up.
Yeah, and I believe the same should be applied to women. Like anytime they come out saying some stuff like that, like, bro, they need to get buried because there y'all go again. You know,
Yeah, if
rule
you
for thee, but not for me. Like, please don't. I'm just a little girl. Like, no, dude, you are a
it ain't,
multi-million-dollar millionaire making some dumb shit. Like, hey, just
yeah,
accept your criticism.
you just did some trash shit. It ain't got nothing to do with you being a woman. You just did some trash ass shit.
Yeah,
Trying to sell a product and then tell people, okay, well, you know, you broke or you idiot
not
or you
not
can't count.
how not the way I think I would sell a product. You know, if I'm trying to sell, I want you guys to give me money, not a bad review. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, Josh, I'm buying these cookies, man.
Hey,
I'm
man.
buying. I'm gonna look into this camera, Pokimane. I'm gonna buy your cookies, and if these cookies turn out to be doo doo butter, I'm gonna rag on those cookies for at least 1 year. I'm gonna trash some cookies every chance I get. Like every time I'm on camera, I'm gonna say how trash some Pokimane cookies are. So them just better be good. For $28, they better be good, Pokimane. Just know I'm buying you. I'm supporting you, but I'm gonna trash it if it's bad.
Yeah, I mean they cookies. Like everyone like cookies. You know, if they're good, they're good. But
Man,
if
but like you
they,
said, we can go to the grocery store and get some cookies for $4 and be straight. Like real straight. Them Keebler cookies and Oreos, man, that's all I need for real.
yeah, makes no sense. All right, this just in, y'all. Facebook has pulled the current live stream. It says
Oh, what?
your post goes against our community standards on nudity and sexual activity.
Huh?
I I don't know what that means. Like
I have no idea either.
we'll come back to that. We're still live on YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, and Twitter.
I'm trying to figure out where does the nudity come from.
That's what I'm trying to find. Like, what nudity? Did you flash something on your screen? Herb?
I don't know.
What you
I
do,
said,
man?
hey, I said gluteus maximus. I said gluteus maximus and doo doo butter, but I don't know.
Those are words. They talking about nudity, like sexual activity. Like, I need to know what you're talking about. Y'all got to be specific. But I'll see.
Somebody hating somewhere. That's what it is. Somebody
Uh,
hating.
oh,
It's all good
see.
though.
Yeah, I ain't worried about it. It's Facebook. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
so when it comes to these cookies, we'll see. We'll see how they turn out. But oh yeah, XQC. He did have a response towards the end, which I agree with. It said roll up is XQC, the Canadian influencer, instantly jumped on this, replying to the streamer, yes, Nadia, it is the hate towards women that gave the cookies their price tag.
Hey, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's towards the bottom where he was he had responded to her.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I
look,
see
man.
that.
It's valid criticism, you know.
You know, I like this last part. He said all of which goes to show how absurd the scope has become and how far the internet can take an argument over branded cookies. In all seriousness, things will no doubt roll on. Cookie Gate will soon be forgotten, and Pokimane will think very carefully about reducing the price of the cookies before not doing so. At least it's not as much of a mess as Mr. Beast's burger turned out. That's funny. That's a good ending there.
Yeah.
Mr. Rich. I like this article. That's funny. It is absurd that there's controversy over some cookies.
Well, that's just how it kind of comes off, man. Normally it wouldn't be controversy, but because it's a woman and she's gonna turn it into like a sexism thing, it's like, look, dude, this fucking cookies. Like, you could have easily just either apologized for the original statement you made, or further elaborated, like, oh, it's just a joke. I didn't really mean it like that, and plenty of things she could have did, but whatever. Why do things the easy way?
Yeah.
But moving on to our next topic, localization. For those of you who are uncertain what that is, localization is where when let's say a game is made in another country where English is not the speaking language, they typically get a team of localizers to translate the game or media so that people in other countries, like America, who speak English, we can understand what the story is going on about. And we have two stories that this is kind of building off of. The first one I'd like to look at is the recently released Yakuza or Like a Dragon Gaiden. Let me pull up the old screen share here. All right. So here on Niche Gamer, the article by Primal talks about Like a Dragon Gaiden adds ageist remark into the English version of the game.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I was talking to Josh before the stream. I didn't know what ageist was. I thought it was like the ageist. I don't know if anybody in here who plays like Street Fighter Third Strike, but the Aegis reflector. Yeah. That's what I thought it was. I was like, what are they talking about? Is this Third Strike article? Aegis reflector, but aegis.
Yeah,
I mean, like sexist, right? Like if somebody was sexist and somebody's ageist, meaning you have discrimination against somebody's age, right?
Yeah, a lot less interesting than what was it? Aegis
reflector. What's my guy's name that does that, man? I always forget his name.
I know. I just had his name. He was in Street Fighter 5. Man,
he's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember his name. But he was cold with the suit on.
Yeah, it's not Q, but I think he's like related. Is he related to Q?
No, he's related to Gil. He's Gil's brother.
You said his name. You said Gil, and I heard his name bouncing in my head somewhere. I was like, I know this dude's name.
I got to look it up. It's gonna bother me.
Your post is back on Facebook. Sorry, we got it wrong. Fuck you, Facebook. God damn it. You guys are so gay. Oh my God. Not a surprise, but whatever. You gonna sit here and hit me with just say you don't like what I'm saying. Just you're hindering my speech. That's what it is. Nudity. Like where? You got nothing but walls of text here. Anyway, sorry. Oh boy. Anyway, so in this article by Primal on Niche Gamer, they have a screenshot from Like a Dragon Gaiden. The man who erased his name has revealed that the English version of the game contains a topical Western term. The game was found to include Western term ageist, which many are assuring was not the original Japanese version. The Twitter user uploaded the screenshot online, which had the character requesting another not to be ageist. Now, I 100% believe these guys when they say this is not like actually written in the Japanese version, because a lot of words with ist at the end have become very prevalent over here in the West, because that's their way of trying to control an argument or a discussion by making you seem like a bad person because you don't agree with their stance.
Yeah. So it's like sexist, misogynist, ageist. The other is, I don't even remember the other ones, but there's a lot of them.
Yep, it's and phobic.
Feminist.
So when you get all your ists together, just know that it's coming from the West. Many are suspecting this addition was made only to the English version of the game, as the term originates from the West, and it's merely another way in which Westerners try to control how others speak and act. Just like in the Spider-Man game, where they went out of their way to completely butcher the Spanish language in order to fit this this gender neutral expression. And if you speak any lick of Spanish, you know that they have gender specific words. Amigo, man,
masculine or feminine.
yeah, amigo, amiga. And you don't have to have like a freaking bachelor in another language to understand that. That's just common sense. But when it comes to these people, they're trying to push a narrative, so they don't care about common sense. They're too busy trying to push an agenda.
Wow.
The comments suggested that there are more instances of odd localization choices as well. Here's some of the comments replying to the line. And these are like, a lot of these people, rightfully so, annoyed because typically when we get something from another country, we want to experience it the way that country has written it. It's through their interpretation we want to read it, not our gay filter over here in the States. And this is an issue with a lot of Japanese games and anime. Anything that needs to get translated comes over here, and localizers have been infected with these woke-minded people where they're so interested in trying to force their ideology onto the masses, they'll try to sneak it in localization. And the most people who catch on to this, we have a friend, his name is Cross, who's learning Japanese. And so the reason why he decided to learn Japanese is to completely just circumvent the whole localization process because it's that bad. And it's like, it's really unfortunate because I might have to do the same thing too. Because if I get something from Japan, I want it as written, as stated, as interpreted by the Japanese people.
Yeah, and sometimes when you change different words, you change the context of what is actually being said in the original work that the author or the game designer or director originally intent for it to be. Yep. And see, that's what happened to, like the Bible too. Over time, the Bible has been translated so many times that the original context of what's being said was lost in a lot of places. So, a lot of people just want to experience these games like they were originally intended to be, experienced.
Yeah, because like when you have a case of what these people are doing, that is propaganda. And we don't want propaganda from we don't want a propaganda filter between the work we want to consume and what it actually is, because now you create a lot of confusion. And you know how crazy these fandoms can get when it comes to like what interpreted as who said what, how this character actually was in an anime versus the manga, so on and so forth. But and this is just one example. We have another example right here from Viz Media. Let's share this tab, switch over here. Viz Media translation for My Hero Academia switches prostitute to sex worker. And I don't have to explain why they made a change like that. Because in our bumbling, failing society, we are trying to prop up degenerate behavior as normal. In this case, prostitution. Now, everyone has their opinion on prostitution. Some places it's legal, some places it isn't, some places it's deemed necessary. What your opinion on it, irrelevant. But overall, when it comes to the act of prostitution itself, society is deemed, like across society, is deemed not really the best type of trade to get into, specifically for women. But over the past decade or so, since the resurgence of places like OnlyFans, they've been trying to find a way to blend the two as if it is normal. Sex work is a lot easier to go down than prostitution. And that's why they use the word. So it's like, I'm not a prostitute, I'm a sex worker.
Exactly. So let's just say what it is. It's for women's protection, really.
Because they don't get enough of it.
They want to, do what they want to do, and they want to be looked at as angels for doing it.
Yep.
So it's like, so here's the thing. I think prostitution, the word prostitution, is a way harsher word than sex work. And of course, prostitution is like a lot harsher, In prostitution, you pretty much on the street corners, you walk in the streets, you might have a pimp or not. You don't know. Most of them do.
Well, the pimp now is the website OnlyFans. So whoever's running that shit,
Well,
he's the
well,
king pimp.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, being a prostitute to me it's a lot harsher and it's illegal to do. Prostitution is like has a big stamp of like, oh, this is illegal, right? You can get arrested for doing it, or if you're getting services from a prostitute, you get arrested. Sex work, on the other hand, is seen in a different light. You can legally do it. You can do your OnlyFans, or if you have a brothel in like Vegas or something like that, or wherever is legalized, So the line between prostitution and legal sex work is two different things. So, and this, from what I've seen in this picture, they don't look like that person does sex work. She's not on OnlyFans. She's not on some type of controlled like environment to do some of these sex work acts. So, and here's the thing, like we were just talking about, there's a context that needs to be shared that's missing if you're changing the words. So this woman, if she's doing prostitution, then that's a harsher life than somebody just doing, sex work or OnlyFans or something. So that's the kind of context that they want to display from what I see.
Yeah.
But if you don't get that context, then you think, okay, well, what this person going through is not as harsh,
See, the irony is with them trying to blend these two words, they actually like kind of shoot themselves in the foot, because if that's what sex work looks like, it's also bad because she looked kind of toe up. She got like a wart or something on her arm. I'm guessing, like, My Hero, so she probably has a quirk that allows her to do her sex work more efficiently. Maybe not as efficient. Maybe it has a huge back. I don't know, but given
this is why we got shut down on Facebook, Josh.
Yeah, but ain't no titties. But yeah, whatever. But like, so, and this right here, they have like the actual Japanese kanji or hiragana, whichever one. I don't know which. I think it's hiragana. But they have a word for it. In Japan, they don't sugarcoat anything in Japan. Just like in Korea, I've seen they have like signs that say "fat people go here." It's like, if you're fat,
really?
you just go. Yeah, it's like, because in those societies, to be big is very uncommon, unless you're in a specific profession. Like in Japan, if you're like a sumo wrestler, you're allowed to be that big because you kind of have to be. Yeah. But it's not normal. You'll see like the average Japanese citizen weighing over 200, 300 pounds. But so like when they define something in places like Japan, they're very specific. There's very little room for misinterpretation unless you're a Western propagandist. And so, like this word right here, it says noun, prostitute, harlot, lead a not so decent lifestyle. Okay.
Yeah.
Down here, so critics are once again of the belief that the change was made as a result of Western influences, as sex worker is often used in place of prostitute due to the latter being deemed offensive, as well as to further push the narrative that sex work is real work. Like, and it's exactly what I was saying, because like for them to do that, they pretty much share that sex work is basically prostitution.
Yeah.
And the sex work, they're trying to sell the idea that sex work is legitimate, it's fair, it's clean, there's nothing weird about it, and you can't judge a woman for doing it. It's like, okay, I'm gonna judge her because she looks like she got all the diseases. Like, I don't know what the hell that is on her arm, but Here's a localizers like this is the reason why fan translations are on the rise. Their days are numbered. Yes, Gaseous Clay, you are correct.
Yeah.
What degenerate bullshit. I agree. And if we look down here at some of the hilarious responses, not the whole nouns. Oh man,
That's a good one. The whole nouns.
yeah, because like that's what they try to like push away from the. And the thing is, this is how you know that they know that this is bad. They know sex work, prostitution is wrong morally on some level. They know it, but this is why they want to control the language so much. They want to stop you from calling it what it is to something a little less offensive because that's not fair. I'm like, look, the problem with that is that that's how you create a lot of snakes, a lot of liars, a lot of chameleons. And in a world where people lie on a regular basis, it is your responsibility to be able to see through that and see these people for who they are so that you don't end up getting caught up. Like, let's say, just like the whole argument when it comes to makeup. You know, makeup hides so much shit with a lot of women. And most guys, you know, we don't have a problem with makeup, but if it's like hiding a freaking dinosaur under there, like, ugh, you know, I ain't trying to get caught up with that. You know, like lies and deceit are some things that can the ramifications when it comes to some people can be dangerous to say the least.
Yeah.
Don't,
So words matter. Words absolutely matter, man. And it's like I don't. It's like I don't understand why they always have to be like this, man. It's
well,
like
it's because like the people in charge are they know they're degenerates and they just want to push this degenerate lifestyle on everybody as a form of control. And it's unfortunate because you know women are very susceptible to it. Like the whole boom in OnlyFans, less than 1% of the women on OnlyFans make all the money, which means if you're like a regular average girl and you hop on OnlyFans with the belief that you're gonna be making thousands and millions of dollars by showing your ass, you know, and you get on there, you share all these pictures, and now it's out. Everyone sees you for who you are. These same women come back, you know, a few months in or a few years later, talking about they can't find nobody to go out with them or respect them. That's when the respect argument comes up. Like,
oh, well, what's the girl's name? Mia Khalifa.
yeah,
Yeah,
perfect example. And
boy,
like
ooh,
she was saying, didn't she like have this whole thing where she was just like, oh yeah, marriage is a scam because it never works. It's like it won't work for you because you're a whore. And everyone's seeing like, why would anyone want to marry that? Like, of course, I'm thinking like the only thing I think you could do is just marry someone else in the industry and just endlessly do what you've been doing. But apparently that's not normal. I don't know.
well, it's normal. It's just she don't. That's not what she wants.
Well,
You know,
it's not about
like
what she wants.
most of the time, people in that industry, they either marry somebody in the industry or just dating that industry. Because they understand the lifestyle, they understand what's going on, and you know what? Even then, some of do get upset about it.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
because they know it's wrong. They know it's wrong, and that's what makes it so funny at the end of the day. Because it's like, of course, the best thing to do is to not get involved in that type of industry, right?
yeah,
Again, free to do what you want. You know, I'm all about freedom. If you want to do what that if that makes you happy, go for it. But you accept the consequences and the ramifications of that lifestyle. Just like I'm responsible for what I say on whatever platform. You know,
yeah.
and
It's,
everyone
it's,
like
it's
you're
about
an adult.
accountability, man. It's about
Yeah,
accountability.
and it's the one thing that women just can't seem to get, and that's
It's like,
why I have no problem saying get him out the industry, dude, because they can't handle the heat. Like it wasn't too long ago. I went over to a friend's house and I watched Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049.
mm-hmm.
Phenomenal movies, dude. And the ironic thing is like watching 2049, there were two females in that movie that were like in high positions of power. the movie was so good. Not once did I ever think that like, oh, this is being forced. Like one of them, she was just like the female Terminator, sexy as hell, scary as hell. It's a
I
really
need to
cool
see it.
character. And I was thinking about the Marvels. It's like, wait a minute, you know, why is it that in 2049 I love this female villain? She was awesome. But over here in the Marvels, it's a whole room of these women, and all of them are it's either boring, lame, insufferable. Those were the three characters. It's like just based off of like what I saw. None of them could hold a candle to the female character in 2049. And it's like, it's how these characters are written. One is heavily influenced by propaganda, feminism, all that horse shit, while the other is meant to be a good movie.
Yeah.
It's like it's meant to entertain. And given the context of the movie, like I highly recommend you check out the movie. It's a good movie, especially if you haven't seen the first one.
Yeah,
But
I've seen the first one, but I haven't seen the second one.
highly recommend it. The movie's awesome. But with all that being said, it's just like, wow, dude, like it's not impossible to write a strong female character. Watching too much shit from the Marvels and stuff will really trick you into thinking that women just can't do it. It really will, but I'm like, it is possible. But you have to get the right people for the job, and those people are typically men. Like,
Well,
no.
see, I think there are a lot of women for the job. I just think that people are choosing people who line up with their ideals. I think that's what it is. Like, for instance, I remember. I don't know if you know. Have you watched The Mandalorian?
No, I've heard that it was good up until like season 3, though.
Yeah. Well, in that movie in that series, they had actor called Gina Carano. She played a character in the
Yeah.
Mandalorian, and she was so, how can I say, she had ideals that didn't align up with everybody else's ideals, so they picked on her. And she's like a really, me personally, I think she's a cool actor. She's been
She she
in some good
she's
things.
she was in the Deadpool movie, wasn't
Yeah,
she?
she
She
was
was
in
like the
Deadpool. She was the
okay.
big lady in that, and
Mm.
she did good in the Mandalorian. But they pushed her out because her ideals didn't align with theirs. So they picking on her and this and that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens to a lot of female actors or writers or directors. They get pushed out because they just their mindset don't match up.
I saw that earlier, Clay. I meant to put that on there, but I missed it.
Oh
But
God. So I
yeah,
think there are women who are great for the job. It's just with this industry, they're getting pushed out.
yeah, like, and it's unfortunate because like there's a lot of good talent that is more than capable of getting the job done, but because they're so ideologically driven for this outcome that they want, that they are willing to burn millions, billions of dollars doing it. And it's like these people are beyond saving. Like
Oh
anyone
yeah.
who co-signs this stuff or approves it, it's like, no, dude, these people are no good for entertainment because now it's impossible to be entertained. You
Yeah.
can't take 2 steps without being bombarded with the message, and it's like it's not fun. No one enjoys
Yeah. So also another thing about these localizers, man, like it's not only just like changing, sometimes it's not only just like changing like keywords here and there. Sometimes they like to try to change the entire story.
that.
Like
Yep.
some of these folks be like making the story not even what it's supposed to be, you know.
Yep.
Um, Especially like in older games, like Sega and NES, to where there aren't any facial expressions, there's barely even movement, so you can kind of write what you want to write, really, in a certain context or a certain scope. But there have been plenty of games back then that have been like localized and changed like really, really bad.
Yeah, and the only good thing to kind of come out of it is that it'll push people to get more engaged in learning the language of origin, just like our friend Cross. Like I commend him for that because like a lot of people get lazy and don't want to, but if it's going to be this bad, hey, maybe it's time to learn another language because I don't want to have to look at everything through this propaganda filter. Yep.
Yeah.
Billions wasted and legendary industries ruined just to push the message. Yeah.
So Mojo Jojo, I think the Marvel spent over 300 million uh, on that movie with reshoots and things like that. And they probably won't get nowhere close to that.
Nah, because especially after not only all that on research, but like another 1 to 200 million in marketing.
Yeah.
Because remember, they had to pull a 180 on the marketing to try to trick people into watching it. There's that bait and switch again.
Yep.
It's like
old bait and switch, where they
and
was like they're making it seem like the Marvels was like a big part of the Avengers and all of the stuff that we liked back in the day, where Captain America and Hulk and Thor and Tony Stark. Like, oh man, this is gonna be a big part of the Avengers, and they hyped up the trailer to be that way, showing like Iron Man, like he gonna be in it.
Yep, nowhere to be found. Even though like what was his name? Robert Downey Jr. was like, okay, I'm done. I've been doing this for like a decade. I'd like to just chill.
Terrible.
Yeah, they did that for Morbius too. Because I remember very vividly. Because like Tobey Maguire is my favorite Spider-Man. He's my Spider-Man, right? And in one of the trailers for Morbius, he was walking down an alley, and they had a picture of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. And I was like, hold on. It didn't get me. It would have got me if this came out like 10 years earlier. But I was like, okay, first of all, because like around this time, that was when the whole the Spider-Man, it was a Far From Home or No Way Home came out,
Okay.
and we kind of the rumor with mill was going, well, oh, they're bringing back Toby and all this stuff, and then there's Morbius and Venom, and so that's what I was like, you guys are using the hype behind Sam Raimi's Spider-Man to sell Morbius, and it's not gonna fucking work. And sure enough, it didn't, because we knew he wasn't gonna be in there. Like it was still a rumor, I think, at that point that whether or not Toby was gonna be in No Way Home.
Yeah.
And it's like it doesn't work, man. Because people are too, even though there's a lot of unaware people out there, there's enough smart people on the internet alone to overcorrect for your intentional misleading nonsense. just like with Scott Pilgrim. Like all it takes is for one person to see it, and as soon as they post it, it's out there.
Yeah.
Man.
Terrible, man.
Yeah, he said the only difference is that Twitter didn't try to defend Morbius. That's because he's a man. No one gives a fuck about what's his name.
Was it Jared Leto? Who was it? Was it Jared Leto?
Yeah, Jared Leto. Everybody was ragging that dude. He was great in 2049, by the way. That was a role like he could really pull off certain roles.
I mean, he played the Joker, didn't he?
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but
I think he did really good as the Joker to me. He did good as the Joker.
I haven't seen it, but I saw everybody was ragging on him. But I'm like, it's the Joker, so everyone just wants a Heath Ledger. But whatever.
Yeah, we'll never have another Heath Ledger. That performance is like one of a kind. But he did a good job to me.
Yeah, but he's also in Blade Runner. He was great in Blade Runner. Like there's some roles that he just knocks it out of the park. Probably because he's already like a creepy looking guy. But hey, if it works, it works. But so like
I don't care.
And that's one thing I do like that Niche Gamer does. Like they'll go down and get all the comments on it. Yes, discriminate against sex workers, because it's like, look, dude, you're not doing anyone any favors. Like yeah, you're getting the simp something to look at, but it doesn't do much for their overall image. But that's beside the point.
Yeah, well, so some people think that they can. Well, let me start over. some women, because I think it's like the majority of sex work is women that's into it. Some women think that they can just do whatever they want to do and it won't have any effect on their future.
Yep.
So they just do whatever. But it always happens. Like it comes like full circle that your past comes up and it ruins your future.
Yeah.
So one thing with men, like we know that our reputation matters. Like who we speak to, you know, who views us this way, this and that, because you know, you never know in the future you might have to work with this person or they might want to work with you.
Yeah.
You know, so reputation matters.
Yeah. And
100%.
typically, and when it comes to men, like if they believe in something that's not part of the zeitgeist, they have the backbone to stand on it. It's like, well, I'll just build my own way. Because like, you know, of course, all that is important. Reputation is important, but sometimes you have to build it yourself. And then of course it'll attract the admiration of other people who would, you know, join you on that endeavor. Like the creator of the Great Rebellion, his first game that he made, like first it was just him and a friend. But with this new game, he has like a whole team of people that joined him in his pursuit to make a game of this caliber, which is like that's cool.
Yeah.
That's admirable. But for women, it's like they'll do something tragic like this, and then turn around and be like, "Hey, you can't judge me for my past." I'm like, actually, I can.
It's like you have to. It's like you have to understand the consequences of what you're doing. Like I feel like I said, I think men we have a grasp of that. Like when we join the police department, we know that there's a possibility that we gonna get shot. We join the fire department, we know that hey, we got to run in burning buildings. Or we join the military, I might get blown up. But we go in knowing that's the sacrifice. And most men, I'm not gonna say all men, but we content on whatever it is we sign up for. We know what it is. And once we know what it is, whatever happened out after that, then we just got to stand on it. Ain't no taking it back.
Ain't no regret.
Yeah, ain't no regret. It's like, I mean, you might have regret, but you got to work with it.
Yeah, you have to deal with it. Like
where women, they'll do something and they won't look at the consequences. Well, I can do this right now, and then I'll be all right in the future. And then the future comes, and it comes right back to haunt
you. Yeah, bite them in the ass. It's like you did all that booty hole eating, and that's surprised nobody want to kiss you. And it's like, hey, look, I'm not like a free country, but just because a country is free doesn't mean it's like you're not free from the outcome. Like you take all that. That's the cost.
Yeah, that's the cost. That's the consequences, you know?
Yeah, like just, you know, no matter what you do, you will be judged by somebody. And if you can't handle it, don't do it. Yeah. It's that easy. But, you know, they want to have their cake and they want to eat it too. And it's like, no, you can't sit here and control all of these entertainment places, formats, and get upset when people, you know, judge them accordingly. The Marvels was trash. It's like, oh, you're a sexist. Like, no. That's not. You can't do that.
No, it was trash.
it was just trash. This is why it's so hard for women to learn from mistakes, because like the society protects them so much, they're not allowed to learn from the mistakes. They'll do something dead wrong and be like, "I'm not the one that's wrong. They're the one that's wrong." Like that Principal Skinner meme. I'm not the one that's out of touch. Everyone else is. It's like you'll never learn. How can you get better if you can't learn?
Exactly.
It's impossible. And we wonder why American women are having such a hard time finding love. It's like probably because you're just impossible to deal with. You know, men are so simple, and it's like I refuse to give them that. It's like you have a role to play. The fact that you don't want to play it is why you fail. That's, you know.
Well said. I can't come behind that. That's too good.
Yep, Sergeant Barnes, you said it there. Arnold Schwarzenegger, America's the land of the freedom, and then Caves, screw your freedom. I'm like, I can't believe we elected this guy. Bruh, just stay out of
Well,
the movie.
it's California, so California kind of
Yeah.
retarded. So
Yeah. But that's that. But guys, we covered a lot of trash so far, but let's end on a high note, a positive note for all of us involved, from the main man himself, our Lord and Savior, Gabe Newell. I'm gonna pull up this article right here. Boom. Gabe Newell, this article by Brandon Orselli. Gabe Newell, realism isn't fun. I play video games to have fun.
as we say, his name is Gabe Newton.
Gabe Newell.
Gabe Newell,
Gaben is his nickname.
aka Santa Claus. Will look just like Santa Claus.
Yeah, like he is Santa Claus. He gave us Steve. But the legendary Half-Life recently saw its 25th anniversary, and to celebrate, Valve released a documentary going into the beginnings of their company and their inaugural title. I need to watch that. That's required watching when it comes to Steam. Gabe in. But documentary blah, blah, blah. The documentary goes into the earlier stories from Valve that was supposed to be their first title, Prospero, which eventually got eclipsed entirely by Half-Life, and some very interesting comments on design from Lord Gabe Newell himself. So I'll leave this in the comments, let you guys watch it, read on your own time. But I mostly want to focus on this line right here. I play games to have fun.
Mm.
That is the main goal of gaming. It's entertainment, an escape from the problems of reality. And unfortunately, it has been compromised where having a take like this for a lot of people, a lot of the normies in the industry will be like, well, I don't know what that means. A realism, because a lot of these people want realistic graphics, high performance ray tracing, fucking Unreal. And games like this require a huge budget for spoken. You know how expensive that game is to make, how realistic it looks, but it's not fun to play. A lot of these games that come out that cost millions of dollars are not fun. But you want to know what games that are fun? Nintendo games. These basic, hardly like can run properly on the Switch, but they sell millions of copies. For example, Super Mario Wonder.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a Nintendo guy, but I'd be lying my ass off if I said the game didn't look fun. And they sold millions of copies in days, not weeks, days. And this is millions of copies for one platform. It ain't like when the Xbox and PlayStation come out with a game and they say, we made millions of copies and it's like a cross-platform. Like, nobody cares, dude. This is why Nintendo is Nintendo. We want to play games for fun. Like, there's a place for realism, but ultimately, at the end of the day, games are supposed to be fun. Just like Alex Jones' New World Order game. I was playing that the other day. YouTube pulled it, but that game is fun. As silly as it is, funny as hell. Had a lot of fun playing. It's just a quick browser game, and it's like it don't take much for guys to be entertained. But because our industry is infested with this huge influence of women, stuff like that is no longer allowed. And this is why I say make gaming niche again. You need to get all these folks out of here because they don't care about making a good game. They just want to make the most realistic, the message propaganda hit pieces like with Spider-Man. They'll take your favorite franchises, run them into the ground with a message, ruining the characters, the story, the plot, all just for you to be like, the Mary Jane is strong. Like, nah, bro.
Yeah, it's like a lot of these games that are coming out lately, they have no soul to them. No soul, no fun. Like you said, back in the day with some of these older games, Mario, man, they had the formula way back then on the Nintendo. It's just I think somewhere along the line something was lost between these generations. And I think we need to get back to it. Like you said, like, hey, I want games to be fun. Like there's nothing like those games before, man.
Yep.
There's nothing like them.
Yeah, and they're one of a kind, and it's funny because like Nintendo's probably the most conservative when it comes to their main IPs. Because Super Mario Wonder, it just looks like Super Mario 3. It's the same side-scrolling platformer that has always been, but at no point that I can think of has it ever been compromised in terms of quality, direction, or plot.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
but yeah,
so
Mojo
then,
Jojo, yeah, they did take it down. It's still on my Twitch, so not Twitch. It might be on Twitch, but not for long because Twitch ain't no different than YouTube. But it is still available on Twitter. So follow me on Twitter if you want to see it.
Yeah. It's like, with Super Mario Wonder, it's like, I don't know, Nintendo always does a really good job of reinventing itself, like old things and making it new. And they bring them back in like the best ways, whether it's Super Smash Brothers, whether it's Mario, whether it's Zelda. It's like they always come back better and better and better, with each game, which is crazy because it seems like most games, man, they go like they get into the high point. Like for instance, Last of Us. Last of Us is like one of the best games ever to everybody. And then they come out with this next game and crash and burn, boy.
Yeah. Speaking of which, there's a segment right here. While other developers like Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann even avoid mentioning the word fun when making games. Newell and his team frame all their game theory and mechanics around making players feel like they are having fun and having an influence of the game. That's how you make games. And this is why I referenced Tomonobu Edagaki in my last video, because again, he's another Japanese developer who is straight to the point. He is the most American Japanese guy I've ever seen. And behind him, I'd say Tekken's I had his name, it just dropped.
Harada?
Yeah, Tekken's Harada, because he feels similar. And he's like the last of the Mohicans when it comes to like outspoken developers of Japanese descent who just don't care. He'll just tell you how it is and keep it moving.
Don't ask me for shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, we make games for fun. We make games to like where you're the power fantasy. They appeal to the male demographic because that's the main demographic that plays fun games to begin with. There's no such thing as a fun female demographic. I don't care what nobody says. And the thing is, and I've said this, I told Herbert this off stream. Men make games for everyone. Women make games for women. It's no surprise that when there's like something backed solely by women, it doesn't go anywhere. And when it is backed by women, but the right kind of women, like Charlie's Angels, I think that movie did well because people started comparing Charlie's Angels to the Marvels. It's like, why did this movie do well and the Marvels didn't? It's like, probably because Charlie's Angels were sexy and they were like badass and they didn't beat everyone over the head with a feminist hammer.
Well, yeah, that.
I had to guess.
It was kind of funny too. I'm not gonna lie. It was funny. And it's real dated, but if you go back and watch it, it's still funny.
Well, yeah, because like the main goal is to be entertaining, like it's not a difficult concept. It only becomes difficult when people come in and deem it wrong. Like, oh, it wasn't a problem until it became a problem. And it's like, no, it's been fine this entire time. You guys just have an agenda and you're willing to destroy and pillage everything and try to make in an effort to make people capitulate to your worldview.
Josh, you're supposed to be ending on a positive. You're supposed to be positive, Josh.
I'm trying, man, but like I do not like these people. Like all they do is break shit, and then sit here they'll break it. They'll take my favorite toy and throw it shit on the ground, stomp on it, and look at me. And I'm like, why the fuck did you do that? It's like, hey, you're being toxic. I'm sorry, dude, bro. You're right. Let's take it back.
Let's go back.
Yeah, our boy Gabe Newell, man, he keeping the fire alive.
Okay.
He understands what it means to have fun, and the same thing with Reggie Fils-Aimé. I liked him when he was running stuff over at Nintendo. His attitude was very positive, and it was nice to see him. Every time I saw him, I was like, man, good old Reggie. I still remember that ad he did. I think it was with Wada. I don't remember, but he did that little JoJo hand thing. It was pretty cool.
Oh, I think I remember that. That's funny.
So if guys like that were always in every corner of gaming, I wouldn't complain. I really wouldn't.
So this guy here is basically somebody who's been in the industry a long time. He said he did Half-Life.
Yeah, he's the CEO of Valve and Steam.
Okay.
The whole storefront and games like Left 4 Dead, Half-Life, Portal. Those are all his babies.
So he's basically saying that, you know, we just need to get back to fun in gaming, or that's what he expects in gaming.
Yeah, that's his expectation in gaming. Like, the only real criticism I have of him is that he can't count to 3, but that's fine. But other than that, like, he's like, you know, games are meant to be fun. Like, Half-Life is a fun game. It's one of the first games. It's the first PC game I ever played. It was way back in my cousin's computer back when I was like 11, 12. And we had this Half-Life demo, and we were just running around with the crowbar beating the hell out of doctors. And I was like, I don't know what's going on with this. Is fun. So
Yeah, like I've never played Half-Life, but I've always heard good things about it. Like always. Didn't they make Portal 2? Did they make Portal?
Yep.
And,
Portal, Left 4 Dead, and Half-Life were like
did they make Team Fortress?
Yeah, Team Fortress 2 as well.
Okay. Yeah. And those are like all like beloved games. So the proof is in the pudding with this guy. You know, when it comes to making fun games, all those titles that we just named, you can't deny it.
Yeah, there's a reason why they have such a strong following. Those games are old too. Like Half-Life is like old. It's at 25 years.
Dang.
That's an old game. And same thing with Left 4 Dead. Like still a strong presence, a strong community player base. I think
Team
it's even
Fortress,
stronger. Yeah.
Team Fortress still around, ain't it? Are people still playing it?
Yeah, like it's like I don't know the numbers, but I know they are. Like Team Fortress was too influential in gaming to be ignored. I think the only real competition they had before the competition shot themselves in the face was Overwatch. But you know, I don't know to what extent because you know the Team Fortress guys are like boomers, and they like, yeah, you can take your Overwatch bullshit. I ain't worried about that shit. We had that shit for years, and it's still good over here.
I almost feel like, you know, if it was for Team Fortress, there probably wouldn't be no Fortnite. Because, like, actually, the characters in Team Fortress kind of look like the same design as the Fortnite characters.
Yeah, like there's a lot of like influence that games like Team Fortress had on the industry, and same thing with Left 4 Dead. Because I remember Back 4 Blood, and you know, it's not just the whole feminism thing, but it's just a lot of issues in gaming in general that kind of stop it from being fun, like online DRM, always online, poor DLC practices, and weird requirements from your machine. It's like because you know, for example, Titanfall 2. I was talking to Chris about it, and a long time ago, like back in probably 2012 or 2013, or no, 2014, 2015. There was this program called Outcome that you could use to pull your games away from a client. Like, because you know, Steam is a client, and then EA decided to come out with their own client called Origin. Yeah. And nobody liked it. Origin was like, it's trying too hard to be like Steam. People were used to Steam, and Origin was just incomplete, and it just wasn't. You didn't want to interact with it. So we used Outcome to pull our games off of Origin so we could just play them by themselves instead of having to boot up the launcher every time.
Yeah.
Now, as far as I know, it's not possible because Titanfall 2, a really popular game that a lot of people like, is tied to Origin so much so that you can't even turn that game on without Origin running in the background.
Oh wow.
And it's
That's
really
crazy.
unfortunate. Yeah. And it's like, it's one of those issues in gaming where it's like you don't own your games anymore because now if you ain't got an internet connection, you ain't playing Titanfall 2. And it's like, that's not fun. I can't have like I'm not allowed to play the games. It's kind of like with our last video where we were talking about the PlayStation digital. Where it's like you don't even own the game anymore. You got to download it. And if the download is messed up or if the PlayStation Store is down for whatever reason, you ain't playing that shit. It's like, ugh. It's ugly.
Yeah, but you know, if games get back to what really matters, having fun, not trying to monetize everything, you know, just get back to making good games. And this guy here, he has the right idea.
Yeah, just gotta keep pushing, and hopefully the next generation of indie game developers, I hope, take on a more independent status away from the industry as a whole. That's what I'm gonna push for anyway. And we can really get make gaming niche again, make gaming great again. So
I agree. So I think that's the positive note that we need to leave on.
Yes. I'll try my best. Just so angry. But yeah, but so those are our topics for today, y'all. Hope you guys enjoyed. I need to start putting this. I keep forgetting to put that on. If you want to support the show, send show your support by liking, subscribing, and if you are so inclined, a donation to my poor bank account. But like a like and a subscribe is more than enough. I really appreciate you guys, and that was today's episode of the weekly gaming roundup. I'm gonna just kind of stick to this every Wednesday instead of Wednesday and Sunday, because Sunday's a little contentious for me in terms of timing. I'd like to do this a little earlier instead of late at night.
Well, I will definitely be back with some Pokimane cookies.
Yeah, I do want to I'm curious because if you're gonna buy them, those cookies better be slapping. I better eat that cookie.
I'm gonna buy them, dude, and hopefully it's good, man. Hopefully it's good. We'll see.
I'm gonna be disappointed, man. Like, them cookies better be good. All that money she asked for.
All that controversy and money and.
Hey, maybe it might be worth it. We'll buy them cookies. Like, you know what, Pokimane, I see you. I'll have another.
We're gonna bite those cookies and throw that shit right in the trash.
We'll see. But I hope I hope for the best. I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but I ain't trying to be a misogynist. Don't like her cookies. Don't want to be a hater of women because you don't like the cookies.
Yeah, we can't talk about my baby Pokimane like that.
You keep her name out of your mouth, you motherfucker.
Very positive note here.
Yes. Tomorrow is tomorrow Thanksgiving?
I believe so.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good Thanksgiving wherever y'all are. We're gonna call it a day for today, but appreciate you guys watching. I am your Mortal Afro Josh. This is my co-host H3 the Game, and we'll see you on the next upload. You guys have a good one. Peace.